She vanished on the fourth day of her girls' trip with $118,000 from our joint account. Left me 2 sentences and a screenshot. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I just made coffee and executed the plan I'd quietly built over 6 years. Because the day she stopped valuing me was the day she signed her own financial downfall. Make sure to hit subscribe if you believe in calm revenge, quiet strategy, and stories where the person betrayed doesn't just survive. He outsmarts everyone. My name is Nathan Carver. I'm 54, and at 11:42 p.m. on a Thursday, I watched my marriage disintegrate in a text message. I'm not coming back. I've met someone better. Your stuff's in storage. Attached was a screenshot. $118,000 wired from our joint savings into an account I didn't recognize. Not stolen, just moved. Technically, I sipped my coffee and stared at the wall. 15 years together. Gone in 2 lines of text and a digital receipt. I'm a forensic accountant. Noticing inconsistencies is literally what I do. And for months, the signs had been flashing. New outfits, strange charges, yoga retreats that kept getting longer, phone calls that died the moment I walked into the room. And I did what I tell clients never to do. I ignored the signs. But I had a backup plan. Because when you work with numbers long enough, you learn. Risk doesn't ask permission before it arrives. I pulled out a burner laptop, one Dana didn't know about, and logged into an account she didn't know existed. 3 failed password attempts from someone on the West Coast. She was thorough. I'll give her that. I texted her back. Good luck. Then I called my brother. Remember the protocol we drafted 6 years ago? I asked. It's time. He didn't ask questions, just said, I'll be there in an hour. I stood and looked at the only framed photo in the condo that had both of us in it. I hadn't even realized it was the last one. That silence, that gut feeling, we ignore it until it's loud enough to cost us everything. I'd met Dana Bowman at an alumni mixer in Iowa City. She was magnetic, driven, and openly uninterested in what I did for a living. As long as you make enough for us to live well, I don't need the details. That should have been a red flag. Instead, I married her within the year. I funded her yoga studio from my savings. When she asked for a bigger house, luxury car, and high-end retreats, I signed the checks. Quietly, I also started protecting myself. I split my income, created LLCs, moved assets into trusts, invested in crypto. She knew about the joint accounts, not the rest. When she forgot my birthday last Christmas and covered it with a Rolex the next day, I finalized the paperwork on the contingency plan. She thought my spreadsheets were boring. Turns out, they were her undoing. The next morning, I activated the protocol. First, I froze the joint accounts and flagged the $118,000 transfer as suspected fraud. Then, I sent documents to my attorney and filed for divorce. By 9 a.m., Dana's access to every card, account, and autopay was gone. By noon, she called. Then again. Then a text. What the hell did you do? Nothing works. I didn't respond. I drove to the storage unit she mentioned in her breakup text. She really had moved my things. 2 boxes, my clothes, and a laptop. But nothing else. No wedding photos. No keepsakes from my dad. She hadn't just left. She'd erased me. That's when it stopped being about money. That's when I decided to make sure she never did this to anyone else again. I found the man she left me for. Trey Harmon. Instagram famous fitness coach. Tagged in half her recent posts. He had debt piled higher than his motivational quotes. 3 maxed out credit cards. A lease he couldn't afford. And 2 months ago? Dana co-signed a car loan with him. I didn't get angry. I got precise. Monday morning, I walked into my office as if nothing happened. My assistant looked up, surprised. Dana's called 3 times. She says it's urgent. If she calls again, I said, tell her to contact my attorney. At 11:17 a.m., she showed up. Matching yoga gear, designer sunglasses, smile weaponized. There's been a mistake, she said for the whole lobby to hear. All our accounts are frozen. I walked her to the side. You moved $118,000 without my permission, I said. That's not a mistake. That's misconduct. Dana's smile cracked like cheap porcelain. Leonard, please, you can't actually think this is fraud. You're not my wife anymore, Dana. You're a legal risk I had to manage. She lowered her voice. I've already signed leases, deposits. Trey and I are starting a new life. I know. I also know about the gym equipment loan, the car, the studio expansion. Her pupils dilated. I saw the realization hit. You're spying on me? I'm documenting my losses. That afternoon, I got a letter from her newly hired attorney. It was laughably aggressive. They demanded access to all financial records, accused me of hiding assets, and threatened to report my irregular accounting practices if I didn't cooperate. I forwarded it to my attorney with 2 words: proceed aggressively. Those who cry unfair often fear the truth the most. I went to the gym, not hers, not Trey's, just the community one I'd always used. The weight rack didn't care if I'd been betrayed. It didn't judge. Each rep was a reminder that I wasn't the same man she'd walked out on. That man trusted her. This one knew better. 3 days later, my attorney called. You were right to prepare. Dana's been skimming from your joint account for over a year. How much? About $80,000. Some into her savings. Most into an LLC registered to Trey Harmon. It didn't sting. Not anymore. It just confirmed what I already knew. She hadn't left. She'd been leaving for a long, long time. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. Back off. Dana deserves better. Don't make this uglier than it needs to be. Trey Harmon. He'd officially stepped into the ring. And he brought charm to a chess game he couldn't win. I drove to Jason's the next morning. He's my brother, and more importantly, he's a digital forensics expert. Pull everything you can on Harmon Fitness, I said. Every public record, every filing, every loan. Jason raised an eyebrow. Legal channels only? I smirked. Of course, we're just connecting the dots. Faster. By afternoon, we had a full profile. Trey was in over his head. $175,000 loan on gym equipment, co-signed by Dana, using their marital status to secure a better rate. Dana wasn't just playing house. She was gambling with someone else's chips, mine. Worse, she used our house as collateral on a rejected credit line last week. She had no idea what she was doing. Neither did Trey. They thought love could outrun paperwork. They forgot who they were messing with. I met my attorney. I want emergency asset protection, I said. Today. She reviewed the evidence. We'll get everything frozen. That loan fraud alone is enough. That afternoon, I visited Harmon Fitness. The gym looked like a commercial. Polished wood, neon signs, Trey's perfect teeth everywhere. He spotted me instantly and walked over. You must be Leonard, he said, flashing the same smile Dana fell for. I didn't take his hand. We need to talk, privately. His office was glass-walled. Everyone could see us. Good. I dropped a folder on his desk. This is everything. The loans, the co-signatures, the car, the equipment. Dana used our marriage as leverage. That leverage is now gone. He flipped through the documents. His tan faded in real time. You can't prove this was illegal, he said, jaw tightening. The banks will decide that. What do you want? Nothing from you. I just thought you should know what's coming. I paused at the door. Oh, and Dana took some things. My father's watch, family photos. Tell her I'd like them returned." He didn't say a word. But the next day, a courier dropped a box at my hotel. The watch. The photos. No note. She was panicking. And I wasn't done yet. The next morning, my attorney called. "Emergency asset protection's been granted. Dana can't touch a dime until the divorce is settled." Good. Because she was trying hard. I logged into my system. She'd attempted to access our frozen account 17 times in the last 24 hours. She also tried opening a new credit line, using our house as collateral. Denied. Twice. At 9:14 p.m., my phone buzzed. "Dana." I answered. "What the hell did you do?" she snapped. "The bank called in all of Trey's loans. They're repossessing the gym equipment tomorrow." "That sounds like a business problem," I said, sipping bourbon. "You're destroying him to get back at me." "I'm protecting myself from fraud," I said calmly. "You used our marriage to co-sign debt I never agreed to. That's illegal." Her voice changed, softened. "We can work this out, Nate. Let's talk. Come home." 15 years, and she still thought I was the same man who'd say okay to a lie wrapped in a smile. "There's nothing to work out," I said. "The divorce moves forward. The banks will handle the rest. And Trey? He's about to learn why due diligence matters." I hung up, blocked her number, and for the first time in months, I slept like a man who owed nothing to anyone. 3 weeks later, we met for court-ordered mediation. Dana walked in wearing her usual armor, designer dress, flawless makeup, fake calm. But under the surface, she was cracking. I could see it. Her lawyer started first. "My client is willing to be reasonable in the division of assets, despite the aggressive legal tactics employed so far." My attorney slid a document across the table. "Then, you'll want to read this first. It's from the bank." Dana's lawyer read in silence, his face drained. "The bank has confirmed Dana forged Nathan's signature on multiple documents," my lawyer said. "She used their marital assets without consent to back loans. They've already referred the case to the DA. Dana's mouth opened, but no sound came out. "Criminal charges?" she whispered, wide-eyed. "I didn't file them," I said. "The bank did. That's what happens when you lie on federal loan forms." Her lawyer leaned in, whispering fast. My lawyer continued, cool as ice. "However, if Ms. Bowman signs the settlement agreement today, Nathan is willing to provide a statement that may mitigate criminal exposure. No charges for the unauthorized transfers or property theft." Dana blinked. The air between us hung heavy. She hadn't expected consequences. She expected emotion. A fight. A breakdown. But I'd brought facts, and she had nothing to throw at them. She signed. The terms were final. She kept her yoga studio. She kept her car. She kept her personal belongings, but no alimony. And she assumed all debt incurred under my name. The moment the pen left the page, the illusion cracked. Everything she'd built with lies began to collapse. As we stood to leave, she touched my arm. "I never thought you'd fight back like this," she said quietly. I looked her in the eyes. Really looked, for the first time in years. "That was your mistake," I replied. Assuming kindness meant weakness. Then I walked out. Not triumphant. Not bitter. Just free. A month later, I moved into a modest house near downtown Des Moines. Craftsman style. Old wood floors. Fixer-upper. Jason helped me hang cabinets on a quiet Saturday. "You know," he said, "you could have buried her legally. Taken everything." I tightened a hinge. "I could have," I said. "But why waste energy on a problem that's already gone?" We worked in silence for a while, and it felt good. Later that night, I sat on the back porch. Glass of bourbon in hand. Neighborhood dogs barking, kids laughing. It was nothing like the upscale life Dana insisted on, but it was mine. I heard through a friend that she moved to Colorado. Her Instagram showed yoga poses in the mountains, quotes about healing, and zero mention of Trey. He, apparently, had relocated to Miami. His gym sold to a national chain in a quiet takeover. No lawsuits, no press, just erasure. People don't advertise their failures. I don't wish her harm, but I hope she remembers this. I didn't burn her world down. She built it on dry kindling. I just lit the match.